You did the overtime, you earned an extra £1,000. And when the payslip lands, you've been paid £380. Not 580, not the number you worked out in your head, £380. And there is no tax ban in this country that explains it. So the question now is, what happened to that £1,000 overtime? Why have you got £200 less this month? Now what's happening here is, whenever you earn anything over £100,000 a year, suddenly you unlock this new tax code. It's not advertised anywhere. It's not on the government website. It's not on your payslip. It's something you have to dig into the weeds to find out what it is. It is a 62% marginal tax rate, because the moment you go over £100,000, things change and eats away at it slowly by slowly. And this isn't a bug. It's working exactly as designed. I build financial systems for a living. So let's see what's going on. Let's open this up. As you may know, we get a personal allowance of £12,570. And anything you earn up to this limit, it's tax-free. Although it's been frozen for a number of years, previously it has increased every year. Now, as you'll see, not everyone gets this personal allowance. What happens is, as soon as you earn over £100,000, they call it adjusted net income. Now what that means, so for every £2 that you earn, we will deduct £1 from your personal allowance. So in this example, let's say you earned an extra £10,000 this year, making a total of £110,000. Suddenly, you've lost £5,000, and that's actually from your personal allowance. And let's not forget, you're still getting taxed on the remainder of your salary or income. So let's try to do the maths here. Let's see what's going on. So effectively, what's happening here is, when you go over £100,000, you're paying 40% tax, then this additional 20% out of your allowance. That makes it 60%. And then we can't forget national insurance for another 2%, giving us a grand total of 62%. If you're wondering how much you have to earn before you lose it all, anything over £125,140, all of a sudden you have no personal allowance. And this is one of the strangest quirks of the UK tax system. So to help you visualize this, let's look at this chart. So let's say you start off at £80,000, and as you slowly creep up, you're still on that 42% marginal tax rate. But look what happens when you suddenly get to just over 100k. This massive jump goes all the way up to 62%. And it doesn't seem to stop. It goes on for a while until you get over the £125,140 mark. And all of a sudden now, you're sitting at 47%. And the funny thing is, this 47% is for everyone. Doesn't matter if you earn 200k, 500k, £1 million. It goes on forever. So depending on which side of these gold bars you sit on, you're either paying 42% or 47%, unless you're stuck bang in the middle, where you're going to be paying 62% between those two gold bars. So the next question might be, what are some of the options for someone in this position? One of the things that is available to people is salary sacrifice. Now, what you could do in this position is you could contribute into your pension, which will reduce your net adjusted income. So let's have a look at what would happen if, say for example, you earned £110,000 in your salary. What would happen as you increase the amount you put into your pension? As you can see, as we slowly increase this, your personal allowance slowly starts coming back, and in the same vein, your overall salary decreases. But the key being here is, what difference is this making to your take home? Rather than getting that £10,000 salary, which equates to £3,800, you put into your pension instead. A net adjustable income is not just about your salaries. It includes all things like your savings, interest, dividends, other taxable benefit in kind. All of these contribute towards your net income, which is why sometimes it's hard to know exactly what it is until the end of the tax year. So as you can see, everything here is obviously not great as soon as you go over £100,000. But what do you think happens to those who may have young children? It's no longer a hump, it's a massive cliff. So anyone with young children currently gets 30 hours of funded nursery hours, as well as a tax-free top-up by the government of £2,000. Now the nursery hours are worth roughly about £9,120 per child. Just to keep things simple, we'll assume these are for 2 children at full funded hours. It's the average fee. Obviously, depending on where you live, it could be more or less. And it's mean tested. So what that means is, as soon as one parent is over £100,000, they're no longer eligible. So if 2 parents earned £99,999 each, as it's not a household income it looks at, but individual parents' income. And unlike the personal allowance tapering, with the childcare allowance, it works differently. As soon as you're over by even £1, you are instantly ineligible. So therefore, you can potentially be losing up to £22,240 for 2 children in a year. As you can see by this chart, look what happens. So any small overtime or pay rise can mean an instant loss of £22,240 of government support. Instantly gone. Now, obviously, if you are getting £110,000, you'd have made that extra £3,800 in take-home salary. But even still, you'd still be down by £18,440 all in because of the government support that you would lose. So the question is, how long does it take to break even? And as you can see from this chart, for 2 children, it would require almost at least another £49,000 pay rise just to get back to where you was at £100,000. What can be done about this? How can you reduce your impact? So let's say your salary is £110,000. Currently, as it stands, you're down by £18,440 for 2 children. Now, what happens if you try to increase your pension contribution? As you can see, as we slowly increase it, unlike salary sacrifice, it's not a sudden jump. Not until we get to £10,000 when we suddenly get back all our childcare support. And not only that, you have £10,000 sitting in your pension pot. So it comes down to, would you rather put the money in your pension pot or lose government support? So everything I've spoken about today was about salary sacrifice. Now, not all employers offer salary sacrifice, and they might only do something called relief at source. Now, what happens when they do relief at source is you actually need to make a claim, because all the provider claims back for you is your basic tax rate of 20%. And if you're a higher rate taxpayer, you are supposed to actually claim back the remaining 20% from HMRC. Most higher rate taxpayers never do this because nobody told them to. So that's something that we'll cover in the next video. If you're enjoying this series, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel for the next one.